Likewise, here today's topic, the cost is the source of knowledge, and the taste of it is going to become knowledge. The knowledge is going to be, shared by our Swadesi Dr.R.Srinivasan, who is a co-convener of Swadesi Tamil Nadu and the faculty from Sastra University. And he has done extensive study about the cost and other things. More and more, he is going to share his knowledge with you. Now, my job of introduction is over to Mr. Srinivasan. Thank you.
Thank you for a very nice introduction. Respected elders and my dear friends, it is high time to discuss caste. See, there is fundamental difference between Indian lifestyle and the Western lifestyle. In the West, even the marriages are contracts in the West. But in Indian context, even the business is relationship. So often we imitate the West without knowing their social nuances, their functioning models, and their tradition and civilization. We are trying to aim them, we are trying to imitate them. But our fundamental is something different. It is just like building an oval-shaped building on a square-sized foundation. It looks like your Indian parliament system building. There are many worldviews, and one such eminent worldview is Platonian worldview. Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. Plato says between state and individual there is nothing between the state and individual. There is no any intermediary social institutions between the state and the individual. Every citizen or every individual, he is drawing all his rights from the state. Government gives them the rights. The king gives them the rights. Even the right to live is sanctioned by the king in the West, in Greco-Roman tradition. The Greco-Roman tradition is followed by the Anglo-Saxon tradition. That's why our Indian constitution is based on Anglo-Saxon model. That's why when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, emergency was declared, all the fundamental rights of Indian citizen, it was abolished. Then there was a question. In Kerala, one student was crushed by the police in a vehicle. He was killed by the police. The case went to the court. Then the government leader appeared for him and he argued in favor of the police that fundamental rights of the people was withdrawn by the government during emergency. So even the right to live, it was withdrawn by the government, so they have no claim for their life. This was the case argued in the Supreme Court in 75 to 77. So right to live is sanctioned by the king. This is the Western model of society because they are all contract-based models. But as our Professor Kanakasabhavati rightly told, we are relationship model, we are not contract model. It is something different. Between the state and individuals, there are many intermediary social institutions. First individual, then the family comes. Parenthood, sisters, brothers, family comes. Then the extended family, Chittappa, Periyappa, uncle, maternal uncle, like this. Then comes the kingship, Pangali, Tayari, in Tamil they used to say, kingship, Kuladevada. Then caste system comes, Jati. Then the trans-caste village community is there. Every person is having his own native identity, a village identity. I belong to this place, I belong to this place. Then only the state comes. State comes last, this is Indian model. State doesn't come at first. You see many Tamil films, even Malayalam films, this may be so. If the police comes, then the film ends. That is the last. Before then, the people will fight with the villain, hero will take charge of all these things, he will save the heroine. Everything will be done. The hero will even tie the hands and legs of the villain. Then there will be one small music, and then in the last one, my police inspector will enter the scene and he will arrest them and the villain is taken to the custody. So police comes last. You take any village, any fire accident, fire erupts. Who comes first in a village? It is the duty of the fire service to put out the fire. That's why it's there. But in how many villages, in the fire accident, the fire engine comes first? The village community is going first. Their relatives will be going first. My friend is in Dubai now. He says if any road accident occurs, within 5 minutes ambulance will come. Within 10 minutes police will come. Within 15 minutes this will come, that will come. Here if any road accident comes, within 5 minutes family will come. Next 10 minutes friends will come. Next 15 minutes relatives, hospital will come. Then police will never come. They will go to the GH and they will visit that. So the state comes last. We are not dependent on the state. We are living in this country believing that my family will protect me, my caste will take care of me, my community is there to see my growth, not the state. State, if you dependent on the state, then we all will perish one day. So this is the state because the kings have no duty. Kings' duty is to protect our country from the enemies and to protect the wildlife from agriculture from our wildlife. These are all the fundamental duties of the king. King has no duty at all. The most unemployed person in our country was the king in our history. King was the most unemployed because the village community will take care of everything. So in such a viewpoint, we must see the caste system. So initially we do have some doubts about the caste because our constitution says casteless, classless society. Our progressive intellectuals, our media, our social reformers, everyone we want that, we want to abolish the caste, eradication of caste system. In public oration, in a stage, if anybody speaks in favor of a caste, then it is a fundamental error. Election Commission bars speaking on the lines of the caste. If you canvass vote on the basis of caste and religion, then your election will be invalid. Even courts will not accept it. So because our constitution is based on the Anglo-Saxon model, it is not Indian model. That's why if a boy and girl, they fall in love with each other in a village, even in a town, their parents, they don't accept it. Even their friends, they are hesitant. The whole village community oppose it. Many people resist it, but police and court, they favor the love. If you go to meet the Yataya, that Yataya will arrange facilitate for that marriage. If that Yataya's daughter fall in love with anyone, then that's the problem. So because our law is based on Anglo-Saxon, our social living is based on the traditional Indian relationship model. You understand? Our constitution and law are contract models. Our society is living on the relationship model. It is just like you buy a petrol vehicle, petrol is the vehicle, and you putting diesel, you are running. This is like, we are in a conflict now. Our identity is in crisis now. In such a context, now how we to look at the caste system? This is the biggest challenge. So this government, we did some fundamental studies about the caste. Because that right orientation was given by Gurumurthy ji, and that right steps were taken, the right initiative was taken by Professor Kanal Sabhagari ji, and many eminent persons, they guided us. So what happened? The empirical study of the caste system in our grassroots level, it throws more light on the subject. Only three things are the biggest problem in caste system. One thing is politics entering into the caste is the biggest problem, or vice versa, caste entering into the politics. Vote bank, caste-based vote bank politics is the biggest problem. My community people, this number, so I must be the MLA, I must be the MP, I must be the local panchayat board president, because I am having this many number of my own caste people. This is the problem. Previously it was not so. This head count is the recent phenomenon. It was not so in the past. The second important problem with the caste is caste hierarchy. I belong to one caste. Ramachandran or this guy may be belonging to another caste. I feel my caste is superior to his caste. He feels his caste is superior to my caste. This caste hierarchy is another problem. Even Ramachandran was referring about the Chaturvarna Maya system. Guna Karma Vibhagashada, it was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. It is about Varna, not about the caste. Varna is different, caste is different. We must understand this fundamental because they are often confusing with these two things. Varna is just four. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Only four. Caste, countless, infinite, numberless, 4,000, 40,000, 4 lakhs. You can take any number. Varna is different. If you call a person as Brahmin, you mean Varna. If you call him Iyer, it is caste. Iyer is caste, Brahmin is Varna. So like that, often we mix with, this is the problem with our social reformers also. They cannot distinguish between Varna and the caste system. Jati is different, Varna is different. We are speaking of Jati here, not Varna. Varna is sometimes invalid or outdated, maybe irrelevant today. But Jati is relevant today. I am going to speak of this. So caste hierarchy is another problem. Third problem is untouchability. The untouchability is the biggest sin of this country that we practice. We must honestly admit it. If untouchability is not a sin, nothing in this world is a sin. Swami Vivekananda says throughout the country I am seeing the untouchables. In Kerala I am seeing the unseeables. Unseeables. So he was boiling like anything, Swami Vivekananda, seeing the pathetic situation of the downtrodden, the ordinary caste people. So these three are the fundamental problems. We openly admit. But what about the other things? There are many more positive contributions in this caste system. If you go to Agra, there is one community called Jatav. Jatav is our cobbler. They are working with leather business, leather goods. They are preparing chappals and all these things. In our terminology, they are the low caste people. For hundreds of years, they have been living like this. Now you won't see. These Jatav people, they are coming in Mercedes car. They have been elected as the mayor in that Dr.R. city corporation. That mayor is having very posh bungalow in their hometown. How it came? Because the ordinary cobblers of this Jadoo community, they transformed themselves as the leather technologists, leather technocrats. They made their business as the big brand, and now they are making money like anything. In fact, so political recognition of Mayavati, it has empowered economically the poor caste. This is one argument. The other argument is the economic empowerment of the ordinary caste. It has resulted in political empowerment of Mayavati. This is the right approach. Ordinary caste people, they started doing business. They do it in a big way. They started winning money, and the political recognition automatically comes to them. If you go to Punjab, the Ramgarhia community, they are all skilled laborers. Ramgarhia is a community there. Almost all missionaries Punjab could make it. They could give employment, this Ramgarhia community, 7 lakh people. Almost Biharis, Uttar Pradesh, even from Bengal, they have employed in Punjab. 7 lakh people have been employed not by any government institution. One community has employed 7 lakh people, that is Ramgarhia community. How can you abolish caste system? If you go to America, almost all roadside motels are owned by the Patel community. The Gujarat Patels, they are owning the motels in America. In only there you can see the white man as the employee and our black man as the employer. The Patel community would make it. We are not begging for the white man, but our Patels, they are giving jobs to them. Our IT, our software, our scientists, our software engineers, they are all going with begging power. We are seeking jobs from the white man. But our Patels, they are providing jobs to white man. Who is great? A Jati could do it. How can they eradicate it? Come to the Tamil Nadu scene, you take the Gounder community, which our professor belongs to. In fact, our Gurumurthy often insists, Professor, you must say that Kanakasambhavati Gounder. Like this. Because a community pride must be there. Almost 40% of the state prosperity is lying with Gounder community today. Tamil Nadu state prosperity, industry, commerce, 40% is with them. If you go to Namakkal, 3,000 Gounder families, they are operating 20,000 lorries, truckers. Even in Assam, in Nagaland, Meghalaya, if you go there, you can see the trucks. Lorries, they are all belonging to Namakkal, Karur, Tiruchendur. 3,000 families. How it happens? You and me can drive lorries. You and me can own lorries. By why Gounder owns it? You and me own a hotel, but why a Red Deer owns it? This is the question. Running a hotel is not the biggest secret technology. But why? Because within the community is capital transfers. Within the community, technology transfers. Within the community, the know-how transfers. Within the community, trust exists. Within the community, jealous is there. Within the community, competition is there. I will not compare another community person for as my competitor. I will compare my community man as my competitor. If Ramachandranji becomes very rich, I will not worry. If my mama and Machan becomes very rich, I will be very much worried. Then I too will start thinking in the way that how he came up in his life. I will start probing his secrets. Then I too will become rich. If Bill Gates becomes the multi-billionaire, you are not worried, no? If your neighbor becomes very rich man, then you are very much worried. So this is how community gives them the motivation, a zeal to do the business. They are coming in. See, governors. If you go to Tiruchengodu, last year we had a seminar in Tiruchengodu. In Tiruchengodu, a small municipal town. A small town. There is an Ardhanarayana who is there in the hill town. In that small municipal town, they are owning 5,000 rig lorries. Rigging. Even in South Africa, Kenya, Nairobi, wherever art is there, wherever our rigging is required, people from Tiruchengodu, they are going, throughout the country, they are going, throughout the world, they are going, they are doing that business. 5,000 rigging. It is in one small municipal town. In fact, when the Innova car was in demand, I don't know what's the demand now. The Innova chief, the country chief in Mumbai, he was asking one day to his personal secretary, where is that place Tiruchengodu, like this. He could not even pronounce the name of that town. Why? Because the highest number of order, it has come from that small unknown place called Tiruchengodu for Innova car. Because they have become rich. They are making money, they are doing business, they are getting employment to many people. If you go to Namakkal district today, when Kamaraj was the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, he was giving thrust to his education. His dream was in every 5 kilometers there must be one primary school. This was his dream when he was the CM of Tamil Nadu. If you go to Namakkal district, this Gounder community has created. In every 2 kilometers you can see one engineering college in Namakkal. In every 2 kilometers, you can go by walk. All are Gounder community managed. If you go to Coimbatore, the contribution of Naidus in textile industry. Throughout the Tamil Nadu, the contribution of Naidus and Rajus in textile industry is phenomenal. You cannot ignore it. Their contribution to the export, their contribution to the employment is very phenomenal. How it happens? So the Gounder community, the Naidu community, the Rajus, they have come up in business. There is one Mr. Harish Damodar. He is the opinion page editor in Business Line Delhi now. Even today he is there. I will tell you who he is. He wrote a beautiful book called A New Capitalist. That book was awarded by Goenka Award last year by President of India. He got an award for that book. In which he says in the post-independent India, how the communities which were doing agriculture, they have come up in business. He has quoted many communities, Marwaris, Baniyas. They are all traditional Vaishya communities. Apart from this, how the Naidus and Reddis in Andhra, how the Gounders and Nadars and Rajus and Naidus in Tamil Nadu, how the Patels of Gujarat, how Ramgadiyas in Punjab, how Jadavs in Andhra. So he has listed so many such communities, how they have come up in business, how they are organized doing this business, how this economic empowerment, how this economic empire has been created by these jatis. What was the secret behind it? All these things he has listed. Now he says jati is something indispensable in this country. We cannot eradicate caste system. Interestingly, he happens to be the grandson of EMS Namboodiripadu, who was very vocal to abolish all the caste system. Casteless society. He is the grandson. Once we asked, your Tata told them to abolish, to eradicate all the caste. But you are promoting caste system. No, this is reality, he says. This is reality. This is natural to this country. So this is called New Capitalist. I visited a place called Palamedu near Madurai. Palamedu is a small village. There are Nada communities there. In 1963, they formed on Nada Uravin Murai. Nada Uravin Murai means relationship-based association. Then they started doing some cooperative society and they started milk society, cooperative milk society. Then money started coming. Then they started on school. Then they started on matriculation school. Then they started owning their own cinema theatre. Only in Parliament there is a community-owned cinema theatre is there. Throughout the country, a cinema hall may be owned by an individual or a partnership business. If you go to Parliament, it is a Nada community is owning that cinema house. One very interesting thing happened. One scheduled caste fellow, he went to film. There was one obscene scene in the film. That was an English film. He wrote a letter. You Nadas are conducting this cinema theatre. Yesterday I was watching the film, English films also film. When I was watching, there was one obscene scene I can watch. You are spoiling the youth of this village. And you claim that you are all Nadas, you are doing big things. So that community, they took it very seriously. Then they screened the whole film. The community formed one censor committee, elders, comprising all elders. The whole film. Of course, what that youth alleged is what correct. Some 1 or 2 seconds, some flash scene is coming. That is not so obscene, but anyhow to some extent it was obscene. Then they decided, before picturing any English film, that censor committee will completely scrutinize that film. Only after the scrutiny of the censor committee they could see the film. How a community is responsibly behaving in a society. You write a letter to the district collector that in this theatre some obscene scenes are going. That letter will take 3 months or 4 months to reach the collector table. And the collector will order. And the Tahsildar will order to the VAO. That VAO will order to the Talayari, village headman. When the village headman was coming to this theatre, everything is over. There will be another MGR film or Shivaji film. So even cultural things were taken care of. Then they started their own community toilets. In Parliament, if you go there, you can see community toilets, community garden. There is a big mango trees, mango topu we call it. If you go there, mango fruits are falling down. They are on the ground. No one picks it. No one collects because the community people will come and they will collect it. There is no theft. So like this, everything is owned by community. What about the other communities in that village? That is very interesting. The other communities, seeing the success of this Nada communities cooperative milk society, they all come together. They joined, they formed their own community milk society. It is very much success. So on the one side it is Nada Mariamman Palpane, on the other side it is all communities put together Palpane. Then is it both are competing with each other? No, they are complementing each other. If any milk shortage for this Nada Palpane, they will be supplying milk to them. If any shortage for these people, they will be taking some orders. They may not be able to supply at the right time. So these people will be supplying to them. So there is one complementarity. And almost this Nada community, they are supplying 200 million of milk every day in their school children below the age of 10 years. There is no malnutrition in that village. Yesterday, Namalwal was speaking. It was a national shame that our children with malnutrition. Our Prime Minister says, I will request my Prime Minister, you please come and see Parliament how a small community is abolishing malnutrition in that village. It was done by the Nada community. My question is, why should we try to abolish caste? Why should not we positively channelize it? Some economic orientation, some positive orientation, why don't we give it? You go to Villanagar and Sivagasi. This is Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank, it was founded by Nadas. With the 28 lakhs rupees of the seed money, they started this bank. Now what is their turnover? 4,000 crores capital they have, deposit they have. The highest success rate, if we can attribute to only Indian bank, that is the Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank. Because with 28 lakhs rupees of money, they are having this much of deposit today. Very successful bank. Any recession will not affect them. In fact, they may be reason for their restriction, selling their shares to some other companies. Even now, one fellow in Dubai, they have got some shares in Tamil Nadu. It is internal problem. But by and large, their community, it owns the Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank. Virudhunagar district is supposed to be one of the best literacy rate districts in Tamil Nadu. You go there, you cannot see even a single government college in Virudhunagar district. Yes, not even a single government college. If you go to Virudhunagar, all the colleges are run by Nadas. If you go to Satur, colleges are run by Naidus. If you go to Rajapalayam, a college is there, it is run by Raju. If you go to Kovilpatti, colleges are run by Reddyas. Of course, Kovilpatti is in the border of Virudhunagar district. So like that, all the colleges in that district is run by the communities. If you go to Arupode Devangar community, that Kannada speaking Devangars are there, they have their own college. But all other community people will also be studying there. They are studying. If you go to Madurai Kamaraj University jurisdiction, you can see hundreds of colleges with the name of the caste. Naidu College, Yadav College, Chettiar College, Nadar College. And all the vice chancellor, professors, academicians working there, and they will be speaking in the state that we must abolish caste, we must eradicate caste system. Working in a community college, drawing salary from there. See, our individual stand is different, our public stand is different. There is some sort of conflict inside us. Chettiar community, they have founded 2 universities in Tamil Nadu. Karaikudi Aladappa University as well as Chidambaram Annamala University. Both universities, both of them were founded by the Nagaratta community. Many banks, nationalized bank, it was started by the Nagaratta community. What about Indian Bank? What about Indian Overseas Bank? They are all started by the Nagaratta community. One fine morning, government nationalized it. Government nationalized their initiative. Government was not ready to recognize their caste. This is the problem with our modern, educated, elite intellectuals, social reformers. So it's such a contribution to our communities, our caste, as maybe who can we ignore it? We went to Srivilliputtur. I will finish this Virudhunagar story. There was an article in Business Line. Even the HCL and Shivanada, they must learn the lessons of philanthropy from the Virudhunagar Nadas. There was a mention in the Business Line article. I took it very seriously. How this columnist has highlighted Virudhunagar Nadas philanthropy, which is 50 kilometers from Madurai, he is from Delhi, he is writing about this Virudhunagar. So I wanted to visit Virudhunagar, then we made a serious study. We involved some MBA students from the Virudhunagar. Then we make it as a project, the philanthropy of Virudhunagar Nada community. Interestingly, there are 500 endowments and scholarships were created by the Nada community for these colleges. Sports endowment, studying endowment, poor people endowment, 500 endowments. Many buildings were maintained by the Nada community. It's not by the government. There is a big tank in the central place of the Virudhunagar town. Tank means in Tamil we used to say Teppam, big Teppam. Teppam. You go and visit any place, any Teppam in Tamil Nadu, it will be dry even in the rainy season because we cannot have a system to store water. But if you have seen that Teppam in Virudhunagar, even in the summer it is brimming with water. Why? Because the Teppam is maintained by Nada community, not by the municipality. They maintain it through their Magamai fund. Very neat, clean, pure water. Very big Teppam. Even in summer, water is very big. How it happens? We have been to Srivilliputtur. There is a small community called Telugu Kulalas. Kulalas, you know, we have pottery, pot makers. Traditionally, they were making pots, but out of demand, it was very well in those days. But now, modernization has killed them, so there is no much demand for pots. So they have switched over to the brick kiln. So hundreds of brick kiln they could make in their place. Ordinary people. What's their education, academic qualification? Just 7th standard, 8th standard, SSLC dropout. They could create hundreds of brick kiln in that small place, and they are doing big business. And they have given employment for 1,800 people. This Telugu Kulalar community for this business, they have employed 1,800 people. No industry in that district, including the government, has given employment for this many number of people. Now they are having their own school, now they are having their own marriage hall, and they have built beautifully 2 temples. And they have their surplus money, corpus fund. Their corpus fund is 80-85 lakhs rupees. They don't believe any banks. So in the temple that cash chest, they are keeping their money. Collectively they are responsible for the accounting. And they are living in 2-3 streets and they are distributing water, drinking water supply for their community people on their own. They have their own well, their own overhead tank, they are supplying water. Almost every day they are distributing water. That is a dark area, that's Srinivasan. It is not very fertile place. That Srinivasan municipality is supplying water once in a week to these residents. But this Kalagupula community is supplying water every day for their residents. So how a community behaves, how a municipal corporation behaves. So this is the difference between a community and a state government. State will never come to your rescue. Communities will come to you. Communities will make our country as a very big economic empire, not the state. State will spoil you. Our Guru Charandas, famous CEO, he used to say once very humorously, our Indian economy grows in the night when our governments are sleeping. When our governments sleep, our Indian economy will grow. In the daytime, we cannot grow. Because our communities are very functional, it's happened so. Telugu community. In the same place, we visited that community women's toilet. As some women say that it is very neat and clean. How it happens? Because it is maintained by Salier community of that small place. Community owns a community toilet for their women folk and it is being maintained pakka. Not the paid and used things of the government, that local bodies. How this initiative comes from people? How these things happen from the people? So all these things, it opened our eyes. It starts from Palamedu to Srinivasan to Telugu Pularas. And we started establishing contact with the Devendras. Devendras are supposed to be the scheduled caste people. In Tamil we call them Pallar. But they are really Devendras. Their traditional name is Devendras. Incidentally, they happen to be listed in the Pallar community. Because when the British government, they were preparing the list of the oppressed caste in 1920s. Even Ramaswamy Naidu was there, people, social reformers, all these people, they included many caste groups in this depressed list. What was prepared as the depressed list caste in the pre-independence, automatically they are converted as the scheduled caste in the post-independence. This is what happened. So this Pallar community, incidentally they were listed in the depressed class list before independence. Automatically they were listed as the scheduled caste people post-independence. They got some reservation benefits. So many of the people, they were very silent because they have some reservation. But seriously, some youth, some serious thinkers of this community today, they are very seriously, they have reservation about the reservation today. And they say we don't want reservation. We could compete with anyone. And they say we are not Pallars, we are Devendras. They produce more and more documents. They came and approached us to this government. We are ready to help them. And we have made their calls to the many Swamiji, Sannyasis, saints of this Tamil Nadu, many opinion making forums. Even in the BJP resolution in Madurai conference, the fourth important resolution is this Pallar community must be renamed by the government as Devendra Kulavelal. Because that caused pride. They don't ask anything. Please recognize our pride. Please recognize our tradition, our culture, our civilization. This is what they demand. We endorse it. Why not we endorse it? This is the problem with the if we don't endorse, if we don't bring all communities together, then religious conversion comes. They use this. If we don't use communities or caste system, there are many others who will misuse and abuse and overuse the caste system. Otherwise, they will not succeed. We must be ready to give them the positive orientation. So caste is the taste of India. Everywhere there is caste. Using the caste, many people could come up. Caste is good. I will tell you only one reason why caste is good. For 5,000 years of living with caste, we are living 123 crores today. This one simple testimony is enough to say caste is good for our country. Otherwise, we would have been perished. We would have died. Mahatma Gandhi told the same things. Non-violence is natural to our society. The greedy caste, how? Otherwise we would have perished, everyone would have died. So simply because we are practicing non-violence, we are all living together. Today we are 30 crores or 40 crores. This simple testimony is enough. Mahatma Gandhi says, if Mahatma Gandhi is correct about non-violence, you must accept my version is also correct about the caste. 5,000 years we are living with 123 castes. Can you show at least one village in our country that only our caste people should live in this country, no other should come? Can you say only one village? Purely 100% only these caste people are living in this place. No, our forefathers never thought of this. Because everyone wanted to accommodate everyone. A year back I went to a salon in Madurai. There was a small photo. I asked that barber, who is this fellow? He told he is Vishwanatha Das. Who is Vishwanatha Das? I asked. He is my community man, sir. Okay. Why are you keeping his photo here? Did he do any service to your community? No, sir. He didn't do anything to us. Then, but he was the freedom fighter. He was fighting for the freedom of the country. Then I asked another question to that barber, poor fellow. It's okay that if he had served anything to your community, it is good that he could keep his photo here. He did nothing to you. Why should you keep this photo? What is its relevance for you? Then he told excellently that punch. Sir, it is our pride that our community man has served for Indian freedom. This is my pride, sir. Had he worked only for my community, that's not my pride. My community man, a barber, he has served for the freedom. He was in jail. He was fighting against the British. He was tortured by the British police. Even then he fought. That is the pride of our community. That's why I am keeping his photo here. So this is what the real. Why the Pillai community they are portraying the Vavu Chidambaram Pillai. It's not that Vavusi worked for the Pillai community. It's not that so. They are taking pride that Vavusi worked for this country. That's why Naidu community they are keeping Kattabomman as their icon. Their community they are having Pasuban Mudramani as their icon. Why? Because they are all freedom fighters. Before independence, there was no caste conflicts. Kamaraj was used to be addressed by Mr. Nada. Tilak, Balagangadhara Tilak will call Vavu Chidambaram as Pillai, not Vavusi. Mr. Pillai, Mr. Nada, Mr. Iyer. This is the way in which our people are mingling with others. There was no caste consciousness. So only after post-independent period we started to abolish caste. First in the name. Vavu Chidambaram Pillai, you remove Pillai, Vavuchi. Karpaya Mokunar, if you remove Mokunar, you will be simply Karpaya. There are thousands of Karpaya in this country. Karpaya Mokunar, unless you add that Mokunar to him, how can he be respected? He is a very glorified leader, respectable leader. That caste identity is very must. So we have removed our forefathers, our leaders, they removed their caste consciousness from their heart and they kept their name with the caste. But post-independent what happened? We removed caste from our name and we kept the caste consciousness in our heart. This is what happened. We are caste consciousness, but in our name we have removed it. But our forefathers, they are not caste consciousness, but they had their caste name in their name. So this is the thing which we have to see in right perspective. Caste is a very positive social instrument. If it is given positive orientation, economic orientation, it will be very successful. If we go to Madurai Yadava College, you see Yadava, they are running 2-3 institutions in Madurai. When I was first time entering into the college, I was surprised to see that very big women's hostel inside the college campus named as Mulayam Singh Magalir Vidhi. Mulayam Singh Yadav. Mulayam Singh Yadav women's hostel inside there. These Yadava people somehow they could establish contact with Mulayam Singh when he was the CM in Uttar Pradesh, and they go there. We are Yadavs, we are Yadavs. Yes, what should I do? Give funds to build a hostel for our women. Yes, he gave funds to us. And they beautifully build a flag. Why don't we do it? Use it. Don't misuse it. This is the problem. We can use it. Use caste. My college principal, Dr. R.Srinivasan, not our professor, he is no more. He used to say, we must use caste. He will say, he will call one person, oh so and so. So your caste boy is studying in my college. He is the rank holder, but he is very poor. I will send him. You always claim that your caste is very high, no? So you pay 5,000 rupees for him. That fellow says, no sir, at no point of time I claim that my cost is very high. No, you feel so, I know. So you pay for this, poor boy, it belongs to your cost. This is how I asked him, sir, how are you saying the name of the cost to raise funds for the poor guy? He told me, so this is how we use cost. This is the positive channelizing of the cost fee. So negative use, misuse, abuse is the problem. So friends, I strongly believe that the cost is good for this country. Cost of the country is the taste of this country. You go anywhere, you are having one cost identity, don't try to conceal it. You reveal it, no problem. It's not a problem. Mudramanagin in his last time, he gave all these lands to the so-called Dalits. If you go to Kambam area, there was a serious study that a village called Kilapuri near Madurai Kamaraj University in Madurai. Youth from that village, they were put up in the concentration camp or torture camp in the Kambam Valley by the British people. Hundreds of youth. There were 2,000 male population in that concentration camp, but 1,200 from this one particular village. One researcher, serious researcher in history, he took up the case. How it comes that one particular village, they have given 1,200 male population to this concentration camp, torture camp. They were all tortured there, they were killed there by the British government. How it happens? Interestingly, what the history traces is, they are all the protectors of Madurai town. They are all belonging to Thevar community. Because this Thevar community, they are responsible for the kawal of this Madurai city. Kawal means guarding the protection of the city. People will pay some kawal tax to them. To pay the god tax to them. They will be responsible for the theft and everything. They will protect you. What happened in 1869, police station came. The police system came into existence only in 1869 because police are celebrating 150th year now. Last 2 years back. Only 150 years back police came, law came, court came. Before that nothing like this. So what happened? These police, they prevented these Thevar community people, you should not do this guarding work, it is our duty that we will do. Then these people opposed the police system. They went to the police station, they asked what is police system. Then they asked, what is your system, you tell me. If any cow is missing in a house, we are responsible because we are getting cow and tax from the respective villages and the households. So we will try to find out the cow, we will catch the cow, we will catch the thief, and somehow we will bring back the cow to your household and we will hand it over. This is our responsibility, this is our traditional system. If we are not able to bring back this cow, we will pay the penalty. That cow, what cost that cow coming, that we will give you 1,000 rupees means 1,000 rupees we will pay for that household because he is responsible. Then he asked, what is your police system? Tell me. Then our police inspector, some higher caste man, so-called higher caste, he told, if